Hello. My name is Jones, and today we are going to look at the major theoretical perspectives in sociology. Within this lesson, we shall seek to understand the three major theoretical perspectives in sociology that have provided an overall framework for sociological studies. These are the structural functionalism, the social conflict theory, and the symbolic interactionism. Okay, apart from these major theoretical perspectives in sociology, we will also look at sociology and social policy, and then we'll look at the relevance of sociology to healthy sciences for students. Okay, so to begin this lesson, sociology as a science employs perspectives or theories to understand, explain, analyze, and interpret social phenomena. A theory, on the other hand, is defined as a general statement about how some parts of the world fit together and how they work. Okay, so other authors have looked at a theory as a set of interconnected hypotheses that offer general explanation for natural or social phenomena. So, the major theoretical perspectives in sociology that we are going to look at here have been employed, by these scientists or these social scientists so that we can understand, so that we can explain, we can analyze and interpret the social phenomena that happen around us. Then when we say theory, we are just looking at a general statement about how some parts of the world fit together and how they work. So there are three major theoretical perspectives in sociology that have provided an overall framework for sociological studies. These are the structural functionalism, the social conflict theory, and the symbolic interactionism. Let us start by understanding the structural functional theory, which is also known as functionalism or the functionalist theory. Emily Durkheim and Herbert Spencer are the most influential persons that have been attributed to have propounded this theory. The theory focuses on the structure of a society. It emphasizes how the structure functions. The central idea of functional analysis is that society is a whole unit made up of interrelated parts that work together. Like the body, it has got different systems. The urinary system, circulatory system that work together. So when a researcher studies the family, the focus would be on the structure of the family. So then the function and the effect of the structure can then be analyzed by these functionalist theorists. So to look necessarily at the application of the structural functional theory is when one, let's say, is looking at the family and the effect. So to understand society, we must look at both structure. We have to look at both structure and also the function. When I say we have to look at the structure, here we have to look at how the parts of the society fit together to make up the whole. So here the parts, the family, the individuals within that society. And then we are saying how these parts come together to help or to help or improve function within the society or to coexist within society. So when we look at the structural functional theory, it will help us to understand the structure, okay, or the parts of the society that work together. It will also help us to understand the function, because it's the structural functionalist theory or the functionalist theory. On the function, we mean how each part contributes to society, how each part contributes to the coexisting of the society. Robert Merton used the term function to refer to beneficial consequences of a people's action to keep a group in balance, and dysfunction to refer to consequences that undermine stability. Functions can be either manifest or latent. Functions can be manifest. By manifest, we mean actions that are intended. Then latent, we mean unintended consequences. Okay, so people go to school or college so that they attain certification for a learned skill. That is the manifest. Consequence of going to school. Okay, so now from a person just going to school, within the context of going to school, we tend to socialize. Others find their soulmate. So finding your life partner becomes a latent or unintended consequence of people coexisting together or working together. Okay, so in trying to explain also this theory, we can look at divorce. Okay, a functionalist would look at how industrialization and urbanizations have undermined the traditional function of family. Okay, so that is a person who is a staunch follower of functionalist theory. They would try to explain a divorce as something that is, or that may be due to how industrialization and urbanization have undermined tradition function of the family. Okay, so maybe to just give more detail on how industrialization has helped, okay, the traditional function of the family. Here is a woman who gets, let's say, who gives birth. Okay, she needs more time to be with the baby, at least minimum of 6 months of bonding to help the baby to grow. And what is happening now here is that in the functionalist theory, this baby needs the mother to function well. But industrialization has affected people in that if one gives birth, you might find that they don't have leave days and they will be required to go back for work within a short period of time. Others even avoid to get pregnant because of issue of industrialization. Companies are not ready to give them a long leave that is required by the law. So functionalists may look at divorce necessarily to be due to industrialization and urbanization which has been happening. Okay, so away from structural functionalist theory, we can look at the conflict theory. Karl Marx is the most known person or proponent of the conflict theory. The key idea of this theory is that conflicts tend to exist or exist within our society. Okay, so conflict theory is all about conflicts that exist within our society. According to Karl Marx, conflict always exists among society, among the family, between friends, workmates, and between workers and factory owners, the bourgeoisie. The most important sources of conflict is mostly economic factors. It is common, particularly between the rich and the poor, or the bourgeoisie, the landowners, okay, for people to look at the unfair distribution of wealth and resources, and this can bring about conflict within our society. So, in other words, conflicts exist between different social groups, according to Karl Marx, and the solution for such conflict is revolution. A conflict theorist would explain the divorce example that we gave in the first theory, that is the functionalist theory. Okay, so a conflict theorist would explain divorce as the outcome of shifting balance of power within a family. Okay, so more women want equal rights with men, so that the inequalities that exist between men and females can be addressed. So when they gain this power, it affects the main role of a man as the head of the house. Okay? Because certain privileges are given to the man, we find that it brings in a conflict. So the relationship between the man and the woman becomes affected, or there will be conflicts that is going to exist. Okay, so that is to do with divorce. We are saying the conflicts that are existing now is because of the equal rights that are there between men and females. So find that instead of having well-prescribed gender roles, females want to abandon those so that also men can do those things. Whatever a man can do, a woman can do. Whatever a woman can do, a man cannot do. Anyway, that would comfort us if at all that was true. So conflicts tend to exist because of this issue of fighting for equal rights. Okay, so now the third and last theory that we can look at is the symbolic interaction theory. Okay, so this theory was largely influenced by the work of George Simmel, Charles Cooley, George Herbert Mead, and Evan Goffman. According to this theory, the study of society should focus on everyday aspects of social life, particularly interpersonal relations in small groups of people, help us to understand the larger society. Symbolic interactionism emphasizes that human behavior is influenced by definition and meanings that are created and maintained through symbolic interaction with others. Social order is maintained by the day-to-day interaction and the shared behavior of groups of people. According to Cooley, man does not come to form their own opinion about themselves, okay, until they come into contact with other people who know them or who have formed an opinion about them. He suggests that our view about ourselves comes not only from thinking, okay, not only from thinking ourselves, but also from personal qualities, okay, and impression on how others perceive us. Okay, according to the words of Cooley, he used the term looking glass self to emphasize the point that the self is as a result of our interaction with others. How we define ourselves is as an interaction, as a result of an interaction that we have had with others. Through social interactions, that is the comments we receive, reactions that we receive, for instance on Facebook and the like, you tend to know how people perceive you, okay, and then react to their opinion about yourself, and in the end, form the same opinion about yourself. Through the use of symbols, people are able to define relationships to others, to coordinate actions with others, thereby making social life possible, and to develop a sense of themselves. A symbolic interactionist, in looking at the example that we have to divorce, would focus on how the changing meaning of marriage, divorce, parenthood, and love have all contributed to the increase in the rate of divorce in society. We have people who are paying a very huge amount of lobola. Paying too much may sometimes put off an individual who wants to have a lifelong marriage, because instead of giving that lobola to help consolidate a marriage, it has now become more of a burden. Hence, people now tend to divorce, looking at it that what they have gotten is not necessarily according to what they paid for. So, this is how a symbolic interactionist would look at the issue of divorce. So they will focus on how the changing meaning of marriage, divorce, parenthood, and love have contributed to the increase in the rate of divorce in society. Okay, so let us now look at sociology and social policy. The study of sociology and social policy are highly interrelated. Decision makers need social problems that are investigated scientifically. Thus, researches conducted by sociologists are the key inputs for designing social policies. For example, before starting a health extension program, the role of a sociologist is crucial to help the effective establishment of such a health extension program. The norms, the values, and the cultural practices of the community must be put to study so that you see how well received your project will be accepted. Sociological research also provides practical help in assessing the effects of policies. A health program may simply fail to achieve what its designers intended, or may produce unintended consequences of unfortunate kind if there are no good sociological studies. With that said, let us now appreciate the relevance of sociology to health sciences and to students. Sociology as a study of society, it helps students, it helps professionals within the health sector, to live well within its professional practice as they mingle with the people within the society that belong to different cultures. So it helps them to live well and adapt nicely within these societies so that they will respect and know and expect certain kind of behavior within that society. So sociology will help them to understand these cultures very well. Okay, so the practice of sociology inevitably involves the social interactions of human individuals. As a consequence, if health professionals are to do their job properly, they require an understanding of the nature of interactions that exist within the society, the context in which they take place, and also they require the knowledge of how society cohesively exists within our community. Sociology is an important tool that also helps health professionals to understand the communities, okay, where most of their patients come from. So it will help them to understand these communities and also know the practices that may be found within different cultures of the community in which they may find themselves working. Sociology has also a positive influence on health professionals' mind and provides new ways with which to understand the needs of the patients and the clients. This is because it encourages to view everyday events in a different way. Generally, the study of sociology provides students with imagination, okay, of our society based on different cultural backgrounds that exist, so that the health professional or the student can easily interact and adjust to societal expectation. Okay, so sociological imagination can be looked at as a way of looking at our experiences in light of what is going on in a social world around us. This may help us or may help students to appreciate the social and non-biological forces that affect, influence, and shape the lives of the individuals within the communities that they work. Okay, so there can be some argument that can be put forward as to why health sciences need to be studied by nurses, clinical officers, and other people within the health sector that study sociology. Okay, health, disease, and illness, okay, should be looked at as emerging from sociocultural backgrounds, or to be of sociocultural in nature as we look at our society. So that is an argument that can be put forward. Okay, so there are some people who may suffer from certain diseases just because of some certain social cultural practices, and there are some people that may endanger the lives of the unborn because of certain social cultural practices. So sociology helps us to understand some of the myths that exist within our society, so that we can try to look at the facts that these communities need to know and improve the health and well-being of our community. So far, despite certain steps being taken, the dominant trend in the medical and health sciences training is highly focused on the biomedical and ecological dimension of health and diseases, forgetting that we have diseases that have social aspects. Okay, we have diseases that may come because of simply the socialization that one may embark on. So, in the objective realities of developing societies such as Zambia, human health and well-being should be known to be deeply linked to social cultural factors such as poverty, the laws of traditional values, and institutions. Okay, as the things that may help in shaping people's views about health and diseases. So sociology is an important aspect for medical health practitioners because it will help them understand their society better. It will help them understand the influence that their own cultural values have on others. Okay, so within this lesson, we have looked at the major theoretical perspectives that are there in sociology. These are the structural functionalism, the social conflict theory, and the symbolic interaction theory. Within this, we have mentioned some of the propounders of these theories and how they looked at society, okay, and also how they relate whatever they have looked at here to do with these perspectives, okay, in relation to our community and what necessarily exists within our community. We also looked at sociology and social policy, how sociology helps to shape the policies that we make. That is why health practitioners need to understand the society, because it can shape the practices of the communities that we live in. We also looked at the relevance of sociology to health sciences, or that to students and professional nurses. Okay, so we are individuals with different cultures from the people that we work with. So we need to understand their culture, respect it, and then if there are certain myths that we need to clear, we have to clear those so that we have a better society that is free of diseases. From me, I'm saying thank you and keep studying.